Okay, I'm just setting up the live stream. Okay. Should be just about there. So this evening we are going to look at the JustFlight BAE Systems Hawk T1A in Flight Simulator 2024. And I'm going to be working through a checklist that I've written up. I'll show you the original version of it. So if we type in Hawk into my copy of Google Drive, I've just made this available in the Ko-fi shop, and there's a link in the notes of the video. So we're going to go through this together. So it's got an overview how to control camera controls and how to set up custom views within 2024, because you're going to need to do it. And then a guide to what views you'll probably need if you're going to follow these instructions easily. So I'll show you them in a moment, but yeah, it's going to go through doing all of the various checks around the airplane, getting it ready for flight. And it tells you obviously what key to press to go to somewhere around the airplane, where to look on the panels, what switches to flick, what knobs to turn, and so on and so forth. So that's what the checklist looks like. So without further ado, it does have weapons now. I am not going to look at them tonight. So that's going to be a separate video. All I'm going to do tonight, I'm just looking at the live stream comments, by the way, for anybody that thinks I'm just talking to myself. Zach is asking, has it got weapons now? It does. So we're going to have a look around the airplane. So we're going to go press backspace to look inside. So I'm going to show you the keys that I've set up. So shift and space is obviously the default forward view in the aircraft. I have set up Alt and 1 to look at the tablet. Alt and 2 to look at the left side. Alt and 3 to look at the right side. Alt and 4 to look at the left side in the back. And Alt and 5 to look at the right side in the back. So then shift and space will bring us back to the pilot position. So these views will come in really handy for starting the Hawk up properly from cold and dark. We will have a play with the weapons a bit later just to strap them onto the airplane to show you. But in the meantime, let's go and get the airplane up and running then. So first things first, we're going to go and press Alt and 1 to show the tablet inside the airplane. So it's worth pointing out actually, if I go back to the normal pilot position, you can turn the tablet on and off with this little switch. So you notice it does a check on who you are. So this program has got, or this aircraft has got a form of DRM in it. So it's checking who you are when you log into it. Okay. So in the tablet, we are going to remove the chocks and the covers and the steps away from the aeroplane. And that's almost, I think, the last thing we're going to need the tablet for, but we'll leave it there for the moment. So then we're going to go to the left switch panel on the front seat, and we're going to go to the anti-skid switch, which is right here, and flick that forwards. Then we're going to go to the right side on the front seat, and we're going to go and turn the oxygen knob on. And then we're going to go to the left side on the rear cockpit, and we're going to go and put anti-skid on for the rear cockpit as well. And then on the right side, we're going to go and put the oxygen on in the back as well. So it's all fairly straightforward stuff so far. I'm going to go and jump into the front of the cockpit, and we're going to close the canopy, and we're going to lock the canopy. Then we're going to go and look down here. There's the rudder lock, and we can go and close that. And then Alt and 2 brings us back to the left side. We're going to go and put battery 1 and battery 2 to on. You will hear an alarm. You just cancel it. It's just telling you that it's got power to the systems, basically. So then, primary instrument panel. Yeah, we've done that bit. So we're looking over to the right side again, and we're looking for the LP cock. Sorry, left side. I'll get my keys right eventually. The LP cock lever, which is here, which is the fuel cock, basically. So having pushed that down, we're going to go and put the fuel pump to on. And then the UHF radio panel, which is further up this side, we're going to set this to both. And then we're going to come back to the center of the cockpit, and we're going to, you can see, look, the attitude indicators just burst into life. We can press the comma key to shortcut setting the altimeter. And we can set our HSI course and heading bug as we want to. So we are at Coningsby. We're going to be playing with the ILS to have something to do, basically. So we're going to set it to 253 degrees on the course. Okay, so we'll spin the HSI round to 253 degrees. We'll match that with the heading bug, just so it's nice and neat and tidy. So it's about there-ish, isn't it? Just to give us some visual reference as we're flying around the circuit. Okay, so then we have to go to the now what's it called again? The AHRS panel. I should really write down what that means. So remove the joystick for a moment and rotate the mode knob to slave. Okay. And then you can set latitude. I think latitude is set automatically depending on where you've spawned in the sim. I need to check that. So then we can press Alt and 3 to go to the right side switch panel. We're looking for the VHF UHF radio panel, which is here. And we're going to switch it to TR+G, which is transmit, receive, and guard. And the air conditioning panel at the bottom right, set the selector to normal. And you hear the hiss from it. And then the IFF or transponder panel, which is this one, we set the mode to standby. TechAnt, rotate the mode switch to TXRX, so transmit receive. And in the ILS panel at the bottom right, we rotate it to ILS if we want to be using ILS. So this is basically the major mode that the HSI is going to reflect while we're flying around, and we'll obviously go and tune this in while we're here to 111.15. So you can see 1 is already on there, so you actually only get the opportunity to roll the mouse wheel over these numbers to set them, which is the same as running your fingers over the selectors next to them. So 111.15. Okay, so we've set the radio up. So now we're going to go and start the engine. So we go over to the left side in the front cockpit, and we're going to go and set the engine start to on. Then we're going to go to the left side in the rear cockpit, and this is a bit of a problem with the airplane. You'll notice the co-pilot is in the way. So we're going to go and jump into the front cockpit, and we're going to disable the rear pilot. So then we're going to jump into the back again. Alt and 4 brings me back here, and we can set the engine start to on in the back as well. Then we can go back to the front seat. Yeah, I know it's jumping around all over the place, but we're pretending to be 2 people. And we can set the throttle relight button. So that's this little button here, and having done that, you'll hear things coming to life, and you'll see the RPM start to move in a moment. Well, that's the plan anyway. Oh, sorry, no, we're waiting for the GTS light to come on green. Do apologise. So just wait for it. There it goes. So having done that, you can hit the start. And we can monitor the gauges, and yeah, the RPM is coming up. When it comes past 15%, yes, 15%, I'm just reading my own notes here, we can release the cock on the throttle there by clicking the lever down. And it will continue on round, and the engine will spool up. And you can hear it happening. Okay, so you will not get full movement of the stick until the engine is fully up and running. I don't know how that relates to the real aircraft, but it's something they've done in the simulator. Okay, so we'll just wait for the engine to spool up. And there we go, so everything's, all of the warnings and flags have disappeared, so we've now got full movement on the stick. And you can see suddenly engine's gone into idle. So then we come down here and we press the hydraulic 2 reset button, and you'll see the hydraulic pressure increase. Then we go to pitot heat, which is down here. Turn it on. Then over on the other side we can go and put the transponder to norm. And we can prepare to taxi. So to do that, all we need to do is go and turn the taxi lights on, and we can taxi out to the runway. So we've got a bit of a long taxi today. So shift space, put the head tracking on so we can look around. It takes a bit of throttle to get the Hawk moving, so that's 50% look, and we're just creeping. So in answer to the questions, yes, it does have weapons. I'm not looking at them tonight. I've not had a chance to look at them myself yet. But I will do a video specifically about them. All we're going over today is it's got a new flight model. I've had a quick go in it and it's very good. I can't get it to spin, but that might be true of the real thing. So let's go and taxi down past the Eurofighters. Down to the other end of the runway. Shall we look at them outside? So we're at Coningsby, so this is some payware scenery of Coningsby. It's very, very good. Let me just check the volume levels. So yeah, you can just about hear me over it on the external view. What about on the internal view? Can you hear me okay? Yes, I think you can. We've got a nice early morning flight from Coningsby. So I'm not sure if it's actually got the pins modelled. So if it has, I will update my procedure that I've written up. Just being nosy, having a look at the scenery as we taxi down. I've not been down this way in 2024 yet. It looks pretty spectacular, doesn't it, with all the new trees and everything. It's the radar. So while we're taxiing, let's go and put the flaps to takeoff position. So that's 50%. We can go and switch the tablet off now. Don't need it. Not for the moment anyway, not until we play with weapons later to have a look and see how they appear on the aircraft. As I said, I've not played at all with the weapons side of the aircraft yet. So, something I've missed off the checklist actually before we go out to the runway. We have not set the HSI. There's the major mode switch for the HSI. It's in TACAN at the moment. If you press it, it will go to ILS, and obviously then it will reflect the ILS configuration or tuning. I really need to add that to the checklist, so I might make a late breaking change to it a little bit later this evening. So just pulling out onto runway 25 here at Coningsby, and then we'll try it out. So full throttle. So indicated airspeed's coming up. We're waiting for rotate about 125. So there we go, gently pull back. Hammer up, gear up. Flaps up. Just let it build speed, it's coming up to 200 knots. Okay, let's just turn it gently round, coming up to 1,000 feet slowly. Okay. It's the runway, so we're flying the reciprocal. Just going to do a really quick circuit just to get the feel of it. So it trims out really easily. We're holding 250 knots at about 50% throttle with flaps up, gear up, obviously. So if we cut the throttle, actually we'll lose some speed on the turn in. So distance measuring equipment is working. So we can monitor how far away we are before we turn back in towards the airfield. So we're just going step by step basically, trying the airplane out. We've drifted up a little bit, look, as I started looking away. So if we go to about 4 miles out and then I'll turn round. So 2.5 miles at the moment. Once we've had a quick fly around and tried it out a little bit, we'll open the tablet up and have a play with some of these new features. Okay, 3.5 miles out now. Four miles. Let's try the spoilers out. So you can see the speed falling off. Gear down. $165 knots-ish. A little bit high, so just comparing the PAPI lights here against the glide slope marker. So it's saying we're too low. So if we lift the nose up and watch the marker, do they agree? Seem to, don't they? Yeah, dead on. So 150 knots-ish, so holding. Let's go for full flaps. It's very, very stable. I have got live weather on, so I don't think it's very windy today. Oh, we're falling a little bit low. So just increasing throttle gently. Drifting a little bit off the centre line, but it's okay. Full throttle. And rotate. Gear up. Flaps up. Right, let's climb away and go and have some fun. So we'll let the speed increase. 250 knots. .300 knots. It's pretty quick in a straight line, isn't it? 350 knots. Interesting. Okay, so everybody wants to see the weapons, don't they? I'm going to turn off head tracking in order to do this and get the airplane trimmed out. Okay. So we should be able to put aim 9s on the rails. Let's try something else then, some Cat M9s on the inner rails. What about some cluster bombs? Oh, they're training bombs, aren't they? Of course, because it's a trainer. They're really nicely modelled. What else do we have? The Matra LRF4, whatever that is. Okay, it's rockets. Let's pull them around into the sunshine so we can see them. And then we have a gun pod in the centre. And a display tank. That's going to be the fuel tank for the red arrows, isn't it? I imagine. Not the sorry, the colour. You know, the smoke tank. Sorry. I know what I meant to say. I just didn't say it. And external tanks. So I have absolutely, yeah, we've gone over our total weight by strapping all this stuff on, by the way. I have absolutely no idea yet how you fire the weapons, so I'll have to look into that. I imagine there's some custom mappings involved, so I'm not going to get into that today. How are we doing for fuel? We have lots. Of course we have lots now, because we've taken the tanks off though, haven't we? How are we doing for... We've probably made a right mess on the map. So, should we head over towards Snowdonia? Would seem like the sensible thing to do, wouldn't it? So, we're going to go west. So this does have kind of a cheat autopilot built into it as well, which is quite interesting. So if you're flying along, then you can say toggle altitude hold, toggle heading hold. Obviously we need to put the heading bug the direction we want to be going. So you can go and make a cup of tea. Does look nice, doesn't it? Should we go low level rather than toodling along at high level? So we'll turn the pretend autopilot off and we'll turn the head tracking back on. Let's go and dip under these clouds. Just over 400 knots. I'm having to put quite a lot of forward trim in to keep the nose down, and we're gliding at 400 knots. It's not losing speed, it's quite slippery. This must be a facet of the new flight model, or the updated flight model, I should say. So back up to 75% power. Should we turn our landing lights off? Might be an idea, mightn't it? Something else we didn't do actually as part of the checklist that we should have is turn the anti-collision lights to white. We didn't do that at all, or the nav lights, so I missed some of the checklist out, which was on me. So I should have done that. It was in the list, I didn't do it. Makes a good noise. How are we doing? So about to come across the Peak District. So we'll go and have a regulation fly around the Mac Loop, and then we'll head up to Valley. Which I guess for this aeroplane is really like going home, isn't it? Windmill. How far away now? So what I may do, it'd be interesting to see if this aeroplane will survive having a rate change in the sim. Just to get us over to the Mac Loop a bit more quickly. So I probably need to use the autopilot though to do that safely. So what we're going to do is just climb up a little bit, say to 1500 feet or so. Altitude hold, heading hold, and then we're going to go Alt, R and plus, 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 which is going to whiz us across the countryside. Those hills look higher than we are. 1, 2, 3. Let's go and disable the autopilot and climb a little bit more. Up to 2,000 feet now. That should be good. Toggle it back on. Altitude hold. Heading hold. 1, 2, 3. And we can accelerate our time as we whiz across the country at speed. We can see where we are now, heading straight towards the Mac Loop. So formerly called Snowdonia, this area is now called Eryri. Well, it was always called Eryri, but the English called it Snowdonia of their own invention. Should we let the scenery catch up with us? It does look great, doesn't it? Should we put that pilot back in the co-pilot in the back of the aeroplane again? So if we look outside now, we've now got the pilot and the co-pilot. Excellent. Okay, so we keep a straight course until we get over the coast. So what we're going to do is, there's Barmouth, so we'll come out over the coast, come past Lambeda, and then come up the estuary and loop in that way. There's obviously lots of ways you can come into the Mac Loop. This is one of the easy ways to find your way. Actually, I will need that on, won't I, to turn the autopilot off. Okay, we're back into control of the airplane. Hopefully the cloud base isn't going to be an issue with flying around the Mac Loop. It looks quite high, doesn't it? We're just going to come down. Actually, if we do this, we could do a loop, couldn't we? Or a reversal, I guess. Once we get to Barmouth. And then just dive back down into the approach into the Mac Loop. You can probably see it from here, actually, if you didn't want to do that. If we climb a little bit, you'll see the way in as we go by. It might be difficult to pick it out in these weather conditions, actually. Can I get the map to work on the tablet? Well, that one you mean? Or the one on this tablet? It's black. Yeah, it's obviously a bug. Oh, we may have some issues, you know, with the level of the cloud. We'll see. So yeah, you can see there's the entrance directly in front of us. So should we just go straight for it rather than doing the loop around and coming in? So if you look to our left along here, you'll see the exit from the Mac Loop. I can never remember until I'm right on top of it which hill. It's this one, I think, is the exit. There's a main road, isn't there? That's the easiest way of spotting it. Yeah, this is it. So this is the way out, which will obviously come barreling through in a few moments, or a few minutes. So we're coming in 400 knots. The hoop in the Hawk really does get in the way. That was a bit close. Yeah, the head tracking has drifted a little bit. It's throwing me off slightly, making it difficult for me to see where I'm going. Yeah, it completely broke then, didn't it? It's fine. We can deal with it. I'm just going to sort the head tracking out while we're going along here. Yeah, look, it drifted enormously then. What I might do, I'm going to do this lap with the head tracking on, then I'm going to disable it and move the camera to give it a more fair impression. Does look the part, doesn't it? That's what happens when you don't look where you're going. Okay, there's the turn coming up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn head tracking off, and we're going to put the camera out over the nose and rotate it slightly. I'm just going to loop round. Giving the pilot a bit of a workout. Here's Barmouth. But yeah, I'm not sure this is going to be easy to do, you know. Maybe it will. It's so restrictive without head tracking, not being able to spin your head around to get your bearings. Right, here we go. I'm going to cheat. Yeah, I can't get my bearings because I can't look around. Isn't that funny? I've used head tracking now for so long. If I can't look around, I get lost. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, look, we missed the way in purely because I can't look around. I didn't ever expect it to affect me that badly. So let's follow the normal route then. Okay, so the hill is on the right. So we double back. And that gives us the entrance directly in front of us. Let's try this without head tracking. Nearly. There you go. Back round to the entrance. Okay. Let's calm things down a bit and we'll go back to valley in a nice controlled, sensible way. How much fuel have we got left? We've got loads of fuel left. Okay, well we're flying out of here. We're going to go and check the weather. So we're coming in runway 31 then at Valley. By the look of it, we're not using the ILS. The wind's the wrong way for it. It's a heck of a radio mast over there. Okay, so we can see the Menai Strait just coming up beneath the cloud, and angle C the other side. Just dip below the cloud here. Valley out in the distance. Whoa, the rudder's very, very sensitive, as I just discovered. This is drifting again. Look, if I straighten my head up, I'm looking at the floor again. Some days, the Tobii head tracker just has a bad day. Misjudged that a bit. We'll have to straighten up for a second. In fact, I've misjudged it quite badly. Oh, is it going to get out of it? We got too slow. And the Hawk is not very good in landing configuration, so I'm going to have to go round. I'll go around the other way. So this has changed a lot. I used to practice that before the flight model was changed. It doesn't help that I'm looking at the floor again. The head tracking has drifted again. It's drifting now. You can see it physically aiming downwards the whole time. If I wiggle around, I wonder if it will reset it. It's not going to, is it? Very unconventional approach, I know. I am fighting head tracking here enormously. It's gone really up the creek. Look at it drifting. Was a bit of a save the situation. I mean, look, I straighten my head up, I'm looking at the floor again. I think something's actually gone wrong with the sim, you know, because I was having to fight that all the way around with the head tracking, and now it's not doing it. How bizarre is that? But at least we got it down in one piece, hey? No, the head tracking is drifting again. If I straighten my head up, I'm looking at the floor again. Look, I'm having to keep resetting it. Oh well, let's go and have a look around. Of course, this is the stock version of Valley, so there's nothing to see here, is there? It hasn't got any F-15s parked up or anything really. It's got lights in the wrong places. And it's got a few Gulfstreams and stuff like that parked around. No, that was an awful landing. I apologise for that one. Normally you would come in as you saw on that first approach, and it decays speed very differently than it used to, so it will take a bit of practice to get used to that. So, can we open the canopy while we're rolling? Just out of interest. This is entirely me just playing around with the aeroplane to see what it will let us do. Yes, we can. We can also slide the front tyre. Okay, so back inside the cockpit, we should just be able to switch the engine off. That will obviously set off an alarm. And then turn off the switches around the aircraft. Obviously there's a correct order to doing this that I'm not following. And put everything back the way it was. I'm not going to go around and do it all fully, but you get the idea. You can turn the oxygen off, you can go and turn all the radios back off the way they were before we got in, and obviously if you do it properly, then the people in the forces watching this will say, oh yep, he's doing that properly, which I'm not. So there you go. The Hawk T1A has arrived in Flight Sim 2024. As I said, the instructions to start it up from cold and dark are in a link in the video notes, and I'll come back to it to look at the weapons in a separate video when I've had a proper chance to have a look at it. I was away with work all day today, so I didn't get any chance until late this evening to even look at the aeroplane. So obviously over the coming days and weeks we'll come back to it and have a play. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that, and if you like watching the channel, please do subscribe and click the like button, and I'll see you all again soon. Okay, take care.